36 assists. That's mind-boggling. 9 turnovers, 19 steals, 7 players with 10 plus points. Almost a perfect game.
Yeah, for sure. And Oaklands, this team has struggled in transition defence, so it's probably not the ideal matchup, but they're going to focus on that as obviously the starting 5 for the Oaklands Wolves, and the big addition in the last couple of weeks being Beth Sarson, 2 games in with the Wolves, obviously played the Lions in the Cup final as well, so a huge bit of experience to add to this roster. And obviously when they met early in the year, Gould, George weren't in the country, nor was Georgia Smith, so it's a brand new group to face Lions for Oaklands.
Yeah, that first game of the season was a mauling at Oaklands College, 23 to 114. They will be hoping it's not going to be like that today. Cincina, Winterburn, Herbert Harrigan, Murray and Azania Stewart, the GB legend, will be starting for London Lions. Really important they get off to a fast start. They want something similar to what they did against Cardiff Met Archers last week. Morale high for this game.
Yeah, for sure, and obviously that they've got a great support staff, but those thoughts are always going on. Obviously more stories are developing with the person potentially being in court today, so she'll be thinking about that, but hopefully Boss will keep her mind off it as the game is underway.
And basketball is a family, and we will all support people that are in need of it most. And we are off. Oakland's in the white. First basket. Grace George lets it go with a quick shot, and I think Oakland's have got to play loose. We spoke about it pre-game, Michael, especially these young players that are going to come off the bench.
Yeah, I caught with Georgia Smith pre-game, and she said they've kind of got nothing to lose, so see what they can put out on the floor and enjoy the experience.
They've certainly got good size. Grace George at 6'3", can play inside outside. And now Zania Stewart with the jump shot is long. Georgia Smith gets the rebound, and a steady start for the Wolves. Here comes Cassidy Gould, 33 points in that win against Leicester. Slightly off from Beth Sarson's back after playing at the Riders, and of course went to Oakland's Wolves Academy, and she's back with her team. Now Kerrigan lines up a shot and misses. Still 0-0.
Yeah, and obviously they have 2 good looks for good shooters. Sarson at one end, Kiki at the other, as Georgia Smith can't connect. But both teams kind of going to be happy with those opening threes, but now knowing they've not gone in, now it's going to time to settle, try and get something going at the rim.
Yeah, I mean both teams have had good looks, as you say, Michael. Just the ball hasn't been able to go down. So Murray, Winterburn into the corner. Harrigan just taking her time at her own pace, and nothing but strength.
Yeah, it's poor defence by Oaklands to leave the Kiki open in the corner, late out on the rotation. Someone you do need to run off the line shooter, just over 50% from downtown.
And Grace George misses, and collected by Cincina, and away comes Murray, who's going to be an issue. I think she's an issue for any team because she's so quick.
Yeah, indeed, and that's going to be the staple with Lions trying to play quicker and quicker, getting the ball in someone like Taylor Murray's hands. Vorpo, when she comes in, both are able to really push the ball and be aggressive in transition. Harrigan looking inside. Cincina got a good size match-up and a nice turnaround with a bit of fade. Yeah, and that's what we saw, the staple of last week. Lions trying to get the post-ups for the guards and the wings on the mismatch, using length.
And Sarson has the ball knocked away, no foul. Good aggression though by Beth Sarson. She's just got to take every opportunity to attack.
Yeah, indeed, and obviously she's played London a couple of times with Leicester in the season. They did a lot of work for that cup final, so she'll know some of the strengths and weaknesses of the players, and they're trying to exploit Cincina off the dribble.
Cassidy Gould, Davison alumni college, but again they're going to key. That's going to be the scout key on the imports, and that will slow Oakland's Wolves down. Beautiful pass. Murray just sneaking in on the baseline for an easy 2.
Yeah, and another breakdown by Oakland's in transition defence. Just you can't leave someone wide open in the paint, and just not enough communication. And Torfrim is going to be disappointed with that from his side, with the experience on the floor.
Grace George off the dribble, long 2 incoming, and she's just short. And slightly worrying signs early because they're backing off. Murray knocks it down, and someone needed to engage with Murray a little bit earlier there.
Yeah, and you can see those transition defence we alluded to in the pre-game, just not switched on, not knowing where to know. Side picking up Murray's definitely not a matchup you want, and Lions able to exploit it.
Cassidy, what a move from Cassidy Gould. Nice play.
Yeah, and Gould had a big game on Wednesday, particularly from downtown. It was something that wasn't on the scouting report, but gets it going. Oakland's finally off the board.
Winterburn attacks, looks left and attacks right. Good attempt by Grace Jules, but it was a foul. She poked it away from behind. She's a tricky player, Winterburn. She's got a lot of tricks.
Yeah, offensively so gifted, can score all different types of levels, and obviously defensively is strong as well. So great all-around play, and it's that matchup with Grace George is going to be interesting, because I was speaking to her over Christmas and he believes Grace, having the British passport, should be part of the GB setup, so this is a big opportunity for her against someone like Holly, who ultimately will play a similar type of role in the national team.
Yeah, and she just gives extra size as Azania goes inside, and with a little push lean shot gets it to go for 88.
Yeah, foul on, I believe that's Lewis Gale, who had just checked into the game, so immediately off the bench. And again, there's difficulty with his Oakland size, even with George being 6'2", 6'3", they're missing that pure position 5, and that's something that Azania knows how to exploit really well.
And she's just done that as well, just a solid season, and that's the ultimate shooter's role.
Yeah, I don't quite know how that went in off the top of the backboard. It's not something you see every day from a free throw, but I'm sure Azania will take it in her final season.
That could be in the top 10 plays of the week, as Gould
fight for the rebound. Lions win.
Shoots it and just can't get it to go. Winterburn, and out of bounds, still Wolves ball.
Substitution for the London Lions.
Substitution battles in.
And this is the depth of London that we know is coming. Azania taking a break, Ty Battle checking in, and you won't get any drop-off, slightly different playing styles, but that deepness of the bench, like, everyone's going to be able to contribute, and that's what we've seen all season long from this Lions roster.
Winterburn from the corner, knocks it down with a hand in her face, and they're off and running, the London Lions.
Yeah, and similar to last week, just points early on, up to 15 already inside 4 minutes, so we saw multiple 30-point quarters last week.
And again, the ball's just sticking. They can't get into the flow of the offense. Oakland Wolves, Sarson's attacking, throws it up, underhand, two-handed shot. Real circus shot there, Michael.
Yeah, and great job to avoid the defender. Cincina did a pretty good job managing to stay in front and make it difficult, but Sarson with the great rearrangement.
Just short there, but offensive rebound. They've got to rebound. Pretty good. Holly Winterburn, with an afterthought, gets it to go.
Yeah, and we saw Sarson at one end, and Winterburn does the same, was looking for a pass, didn't play in the half court's definitely what they want to do coming in.
Yeah, 36 assists last week in the demolition of Cardiff Met Archers. Even though the Met Archers did better in the second half, it was just too late, and that's what Oakland's Wolves don't want to happen here, is to start playing really well once the lead's too big. And they've put on a bit of a trap there, three-quarter court trap, Lions. Again, shot clock under 10, and they're still outside the three-point line, really closing George down. They need to move the ball quicker. 1 second, it's going up and long, and good rebound by Winterburn. Good fight by Oaklands, but they get it away. And here comes Harrigan to Murray, pulls up, elbow shot is no good. Harrigan with the tip offensive rebound, and Winterburn will have another look. And off 1 foot, but she almost lures the defence there, Mike, into fouling her.
Yeah, it's so patient, it's so thoughtful in what Holly Winterburn does time and time again. This time, kind of saw Lewis Gale coming over and just slowed her steps down, and that's what initiated the contact, and then nearly got it to go as well.
Yeah, Kyla Nelson alluded to it yesterday in the BBL comms at Scorchers, which, just touching briefly on the men's game, and that was one heck of a win against Caledonia Gladiators, who are up next against the men's team, but she referred to a quick step followed by a slow step to just get the defence completely off their rhythm. Yeah,
and that's what you saw with Winterburn there, also frustrated she couldn't get the first to go. It's a rare miss from Winterburn, shooting over 80% at the line this year.
Yeah, she's been superb. More pressure from the Lions, and I think that's a good idea. Keep things switching up. Daisy Porter, one of the academy players, in. Lewis Gale with a bit of a rushed shot. who missed everything.
Yeah, and that's the inexperience. That's contested mid-range jump shot, mid-shot clock is not what you want, but this is what Oaklands do. They're trying to develop the younger players, give them experience. We've seen people come through the system, people like Beth Sarson, Lizzie Harris and Laura Milligan. There's so many that have come through that pathway, have done a good job, and by getting experience early is what they need.
Cincina is just a joy to watch when she lets that three-pointer go.
Yeah, another lethal shooter. What she does best, shooting 38% from three, and just again pure by Oaklands not to recognise where the shooter was on the floor.
Grace George again, she's going to have to do it herself. 3-8-point up, and she knocks it down.
Yeah, beautiful. I'll give her some confidence. Was the leading scorer for Oaklands going in at Christmas. Has slowed down a little bit since, but she can get it going. That'll be big as Vorpal off, and Oakland's got a chance to go in transition, but as a really smart take foul by Vorpal, just to slow the transition up without it being unsportsmanlike.
Yeah, good play. Good play by Oakland's Wolves, and Vorpal just slowing it down and making sure that she got hand on the ball so she didn't commit the...
Yeah, and again, the first foul, but it's the way she took it is by making sure you're in front. If you're in transition now, if you're from the side or behind, it's unsportsmanlike, but being in front allowed it just to be a clean play. George
attacks, pulls up, and just off. Good defence from Battle. Here comes the Lions in transition.
Yeah, that's illegal.
Beckford Norton couldn't quite gather it.
Not sure. Carry, double dribble, travel, take your pick, but certainly not legal. But a lovely pass, and it's unfortunately for Shanice Beckford Norton. She didn't quite get the handle of it first time, and again we alluded to it. We're 6 minutes in, and that's the first time of the game by either teams. Oakland's, give them credit, they've done a terrific job, even with the younger group in, of looking after the ball.
Really good pass out by Lewis Gale. That's the sort of play I think they need to do, is get the ball inside and then kick it out.
Yeah, for sure, and you'll take it. Grace George just made one a minute ago from the top, getting her the open look from three from the wing this time. Doesn't quite go, but Oakland's starting to grow into this game, starting to feel confident. They're not going to worry as much about the score. It's about an opportunity to learn and grow, and if you're in the game in the fourth, then things can change, but they're going to keep using this opportunity to learn like they've done the last couple of weeks, because they've had a tough run with Sheffield, Leicester and now London.
It doesn't get much tougher. Shaquila Joseph, GB International in Cincina, one of the top shooters in Europe, and Beckford Norton just unopposed with the wraparound layup.
Yeah, it's just a beautiful cut off the weak side. I realised the defence is collapsing. I just saw it sprint in from the baseline and see what happens, and good patience by Joseph on the dish.
And Grace George with the 2 and 1, and that's what she can do. She can knock down the 3, and if the lane opens up, she attack.
Yeah, and again, you can see this Oakland's team, there's certain matchups they really like. Joseph there, always on the hip, and yeah, definitely a clear foul, but 3 or 4 times, we've seen it earlier from Sarson, they're trying to exploit some of these wings off the dribble with a little bit more foot speed, and good planning, and this time George able to convert.
And a free throw made for Grace George. And just to remind viewers, the first game of the season at Oakland's Wolves, 23 points the Wolves scored. It's not going to be like that today, and that's unfortunate for Gould. They've got a lot more firepower, and whistle. Not a foul on Cassidy Gould.
Yeah, it's going to have to be unsportsmanlike if they're going to call it, because it's exactly what it talked about with Vorpal in transition. She got in front, Gould from behind, but I'm not sure there was a lot of contact on that one. That's kind of one that didn't affect the ball hand levers. It's normally one you'd see the referees let go, but Ian Green deciding there was enough contact to call the unsportsmanlike.
Just a bit of a frustration foul, I guess. Mike there, she'd missed an easy layup for her in her world, and she's just hustling back and makes contact. So Vorpal knocks down the free throw, keeps it comfortable at the moment for the Lions. And as we said at the top of the show, Leicester Riders have played a couple of more games, but they are top of the league with the win against Sevenoaks Suns yesterday. Vorpal. Battle. Good spacing from the Lions. Inside it goes to Joseph, up against Sarsons. She can't get it to go. She had a good look. Here comes Gould, pushing, using Joseph as a screen, but she's thwarted there. Porter steps through, back outside, and again 10 seconds on the shot clock. Oakland's Wolves are going to have to look for an option. Here comes Gould, eyes up, and gets her own offensive rebound, and it stays with Oakland's Wolves. Great effort by Cassidy Gould.
Yeah, and it's that relentless effort. Nearly got the tip in to go, but Gould, a really good offensive rebounder for what is a natural point guard. She's coming in, averaging over 3 offensive rebounds a game, so it's something that's in her DNA to be aggressive on the glass.
Sarsens goes baseline, back outside, extra pass, and they're going to get an open look here, and they knock it down, and Tor Freeman will be really happy with the ball movement there.
Yeah, it's a terrific play. You thought Lewis Gale was going to fire it up, but she designed extra. In this environment, it could be easy to do.
Yeah, and I think this Cassidy Gould, five points already, and she's coming off a huge game. And it's a heartbreaking overtime loss, and as Tor Freeman said pre-game, they were a little bit upset they didn't win the game, and that's great that he's able to talk like that coming into a massive challenge that they've got here today. Winterburn finds herself open, defence collapses, ball's loose, here comes Beth Sarsens, and blocked, but look at Cassidy Gould, and she gets it to go, and great hustle by Oakland's Wolves.
Yeah, sloppy turnover by Lions, but Oakland's, that's where they're at their best offensively, is getting out in transition, going early, and Gould again hand in the passing lane, and Sarson really unlucky to get called for the foul, but the energy is really starting to come over from Oakland's, and Lions have got to step it up another gear, because right now Oakland's are outworking them.
Yeah, and that will not please Stella at all, Coach Stella, if Oakland's Wolves are playing with more energy and hustle, and Vorpal just getting away with that double team. It didn't look much, but referee was right on top.
Yeah, and Sarson a little bit unlucky, and Lions again another uncharacteristic from the free throw, but yeah, is that energy that I'm sure Lions will find, but sometimes these games you go in knowing you're expected to win, and fairly comfortably if you look at the league table, that sometimes you're just not quite there, but hopefully they can step it up.
Shaquila Joseph inside, step through, and travel called. Just moving that pivot foot. Oakland's Wolves just doing enough to get Shaquila Joseph out of rhythm, so in comes Jan Akpan.
Yeah, it's terrific post defense to stay up, didn't give Shaquila an angle to get to the basket, and then she was going to come back middle and then realised it wasn't there, and that's where the back foot slid, and it's the Lions' third turnover. Oakland's obviously still without a turnover. It's a terrific job as Georgia Smith still scoreless.
Yeah, she had 12 points against the Riders Wednesday, but she did a lot of other stuff, rebounds and assists. 5 rebounds, 5 assists, good ball movement, good defence by Akpan there, and out of bounds, really good job. And I think that's what the academy players have to do. There's 4 on the court at the moment, along with Georgia, and I think they just got to do the little things. They don't have to score as such if they can play good D, make those extra passes, and they've got enough firepower with Sarsens and George, Gould and Smith.
Yeah, and it looked like they're in a bit of a zone there, so just trying to throw Lions out of rhythm a little bit perhaps, and yeah, Vorpal on the baseline, but Lions out in this press, just trying to slow it up, but Oakland's a really good opportunity here. If you can go score, stop, score now with the 2-for-1 into the break, suddenly it's going to be like a 4 or 5 point game, and from being down 12-13 early and looking like it could potentially be a blowout, they've really impressed.
This is big moments with 4 young players, 4 under-19s on the floor, plus Georgia Smith. And Holly read that way too easily, and that's not what they wanted. They've got to be really careful. They've got to switch on to another level.
Yeah, and this pressure causing problems, just about get it over, but hands into Joseph, and now Lions have got this momentum rolling.
2-pointer up is off the back ball. Good rebound by Akpan. Every pass has got to be, they've got to be really careful, and they're just throwing it away again. And it's a little bit manic.
Lions will use the clock.
And Winterburn called for a travel, and Coach Calcidu cannot believe that. Questioning the ref.
Nor can Holly.
No, I didn't see much there.
I think it's the way she gathered it, but normally with the 0-step rule you can normally get away with it, but maybe just a little hop or something before it, but it's hard to tell here. And Oaklands, with that pressure, decides, you know what, we're not going to try and push it, we'll just take the end of the quarter, because that last minute, just as they're looking to get back into it, that press from Lyons really threw Oaklands off.
Well, that'd certainly be what Tor Freeman wants to do. He's got Lee Ryan alongside him today as well. The coach, who's the head coach of the men's side of the academy at Oakland Wolves. And Cena gets baseline and a foul. They've got Grace Jules back in for Oakland's Wolves, but again, just you can see it from up here perfectly. Cena just ghosting in on the baseline.
Yeah, and unfortunate for Lewis Gale, that's her third foul, so she's going to have to sit down early on in the second quarter, and probably done till half time. It's unlikely she'll be rested on those 3 fouls, so an extended period on the bench.
And Cena knocking the free throw down.
Kind of feel like my stats are wrong. Cena, the first time all year she's been to line for 2 shots. Only ever free throw in the league was an and 1, which kind of feels off, but able to convert both as Taylor Murray doing what she does best.
Yeah, just coming in behind Grace George. And you feel Lions have got a couple of extra gears to go up. Wolves have got to be really careful here. Grace George, a lot of dribbling. Where's she going to go? Into the corner. Porter throws it up left-handed, can't get it to go. That was really tough. And ball stays with the London Lions.
Yeah, Porter did well to get it off. Realised she had to fade to avoid the shot being blocked, and she nearly got it to go, but again, just that length of the lines really causing issues.
And shots up, and Harrigan, just as casual as you like, just knocks down the baseline jump shot.
Yeah, and it so shooting over Porter's so easy, and again Lions off to a quick start, 6-0 run plus the scoring to end the quarter, so an extended run, and Oakland's need a bucket to really pull themselves back into this game.
And she's going to get a wide open look now. Grace George just off the front of the rim. She thought she was being fouled there. Ball's loose, and Georgia Smith couldn't get that, and Winterburn left hand layup misses, and foul against Daisy Porter. And things getting tougher and tougher now for the Oakland Wolves.
Yeah, and I thought Porter did a fairly good job. She got her feet set, but she's inside the charge circle, so it makes it fairly easy. Yeah, just moving to her right, but she did a pretty good job of trying to get in front of Winterburn and make it difficult, but Holly will have a chance for free throws, and that's where Lions have started to now consistently be at. It's attempts 10 and 11 coming up, and that's always a good way to keep the scoreboard ticking over.
Yeah, 6 of 10 from the line. It's uncharacteristic misses, but they're getting more and more to the free throw line. Winterburn just splashes those 2. Substitution, Sarson back in. Daisy Porter out. But you're right, Daisy Porter was really brave there, and that's where Tor's got to be happy with that effort.
Yeah, and again, but the problem with the free throws is this lets Lions set up the press that Oakland's have struggled with, so with more experienced group, it's a good execution this time.
Murray coming in from behind again, but this time committing the foul.
And yeah, you see that experience from that group, just knowing where to be, where the gaps were in the zone pressure to break it a little bit easier than some of the younger players, and hopefully they're taking that in on the bench, or when they get next time they're in, they're able to execute at a higher level.
Smith with a fake, really nice play, and she gets it to go. And Georgia Smith, another one that can explode offensively.
Yeah, I say first basket of the game for Smith, but yeah, on a day she can go for 30 very easily.
Wow, big time move from Azania Stewart, and she might have an issue with her contacts, or
Azania, you don't need to see, come on.
You know where the hoop is, it's up there.
Yeah,
it's up there somewhere. Smiles from Azania, but what a super move. Spun baseline, and just her wingspan allows her to get to the other side of the hoop.
Yeah, and again, it's a matchup she's going to enjoy all day long, is having a little bit more size, a little bit more length and the experience to work out what the defence is allowing her to do and capitalising on it.
Osi's going to go to the basket, and she's fouled by Herbert Harrigan. Kiki's not too impressed with that, but I think it was a foul.
Yeah, a little bit fortunate how the ball got to her side, but she made the right decision.
Of this Lions team, looking pretty relaxed. They're in control, but Oaklands Wolves at the free throw line.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Oakland's, Osai is probably not the one you want at the line. She's 0 of 7 now on the season from there. So again, another thing for a youngster to focus on. Probably over the summer, it's a lot of time where you can get back in and get some reps up. But in season, you never want to make too much. And in fact, she goes to Jeremy Sohan, one-handed layup. That one, free throw. That off to the right. But obviously a little bit of a tape study. As obviously Sohan's been a big one. That's free throw percentage has rocketed up in the NBA with the one-handed look.
Cena with the two-handed shot. Great hustle by both players. Ball's loose, and I say with the loose ball. But again, I just think it's really dangerous for Grace Jules to try and dribble out when Murray's anywhere near her.
Yeah, coaches always go to against a press break is move the ball.
Yeah.
And pass it up, as this time Smith brings it over fairly easily. But yeah, if you can get the ball moving and find the gaps with the pass, it's a lot easier.
Grace George. 5 seconds again, and pass, a little bit of a panic pass from Grace as the time was running down. They've got to keep their heads up here. They knew it was going to be tough. They've just got to take it as the ultimate challenge.
Yeah, and that's disappointing because actually Georgia Smith worked herself open and George just kind of passed it where she was, not where she was moving to. And you can see that the turnovers racking up in the Oaklands. Obviously the 3 to end the first quarter, and then now 3 early on in the second.
Herbert Harrigan just playing in second gear. I think second, third gear, finishes that using her length to get to the hoop. Sarsens against Encina. Again, a lot of size there to go up against. Gould spins, left hand finish is good, and the Davison alumni is just showing some moves there, almost Steph Curry like. Yeah, that attack.
Really pretty move, spin past Winterburn, just beat her all ends up.
Harrigan is she's just playing at her own pace, not being rushed, and she's unstoppable.
Yeah, and that's the experience. She knows what she can get away with, and why rush when I've got the extra half second? I'll still get the same look.
Cassidy, Gould just can't get it to go, but again, really aggressive attack downhill towards the hoop.
Yeah, and for all the world, it looked like it was going to roll in. That was probably cleaner than the Zania's free throw that hit the top of the backboard. As again, another big swipe by Herbert Harrigan, and that's in a way lucky, because if that hits the head or neck, that's going to be called unsportsmanlike with that wind up. You can see what she's trying to do, but you've got to be really careful in those situations, and that's the second quick foul on Kiki.
Yeah, and I think because of the nature of the shot being underhanded, that Herbert Harrigan had to swipe down. As we know, she's an amazing shot blocker, and we wanted to be blocking the shots much higher up in the arc of the shot. There's Coach Tor Freeman organising his troops, his young team. But we do hope, for the British players' sake that are coming through the academy, that they're really going to enjoy this experience. It's going to be chastening at times, but enjoy from it and learn from it.
For sure, and obviously a big crowd in as well always helps.
Yeah, Vorpal offensive rebound as Zania, but throws it out of bounds as she was trying to find Kiki Harrigan.
Yeah, and Oakland's, to be fair, credit to them, obviously big size disadvantage, but matched Lions right now on offensive rebounds, 3 apiece, so they've done a good job cleaning up the glass, and that's another thing that Lions were great at last week. The few misses they had, it always felt like they were contesting for that offensive rebound.
Georgia Smith having to step a long way out, screen from Ussay, closely guarded. They've got to move the ball. They're not going to be able to dribble through this London Lions team ever. Still guarded, shots up, off, contested, and Kiki Herbert Harrigan couldn't control that, and she feels she was pushed, and the referee saying no. So good hustle from Oakland's Wolves.
Yeah, and we'll have a look on the replay, see if she was unlucky here. It was just that's a clean contest. I mean, you can't do any better than that, and yeah, Kika just couldn't get the second hand to the ball.
Smith. Shots up off the glass, just long for Osei. And here comes Vorpal. They're trying to really push the pace now, Lions. Azania Stewart baseline. Kicks it out. Tap pass, extra pass into the corner. That was pretty. Ball's loose. Here comes Neva Karasati to Beth Sarsons and Vorpal again, slowing down the Oaklands Wolves.
They're going to go sideline ball, saying Vorpal was just about enough in front, but that one wasn't going to go down as the Shanice Beckford-Norton assist if we'd made it, but that tap pass was so beautiful. Realising it didn't have time to get the ball in your hands and swing it, just immediately I can get it there, and that's the quality of this Lions team, to recognise those little situations where you can take an advantage, because at the next level up, which is also where they're trying to get to a EuroLeague qualifiers, that's going to make all the difference.
And that's what they're looking at. Eurocup this season, got to the round of 32, lost to Villeneuve over 2 legs, having beaten them here, and offensive foul. Cassidy Gould offers a hand, and Shanice decides not to take it.
Yeah, and I think
a bit chippy.
I think Oaklands were looking for the reach in on the screen. Like you could see Vorpal trying to reach in and break it up, but the handoff, you've always got to get your feet set on it. It's so difficult for a ball handler because you're dribbling at speed, but you only got to stop if you're setting that screen. As another offensive foul.
There's offensive foul here.
Looks like they called it on Battle, so I think just trying to roll too early, defender going under, and that's that freedom of movement they're trying to give the defenders this year to allow them to play a little bit closer to the ball.
Well, Oakland's Wolves will take any calls they can. Halfway through the second, it's WBBL action at the copper box. Eva's going to get a pocket picked. 2-on-1. And that's an interesting 2-on-1 option, but it works. Tight battle with the score.
Yeah, and alley-oops, we don't see him too much, but the crowd loved it, and good composure by Battle to finish.
Yeah. And that gets the crowd on their feet. Shouts at defense. Unbelievable move. That's the second one she's done. This time she's going to the line, Mike.
I don't know how she got that off. We had a great view of it from our angle here, right in front of us, and it looked for all the world like it was just going to go into the hands of Beckford-Norton. She managed to get it up and over at, and got the friendly roll. So great finish by Sarson, and
smiles on the face of her teammates. But this is what they've got to do. They've got to make some play some tough D, but at the end of the day they're going to have to make some unreal offensive plays.
Yeah, and you can see the smile on Beth Sarson's face. She doesn't know how she got it in, but she'll take it all day long, and obviously that experience she's got, obviously a long time Oaklands Wolves coming back from the Riders, she's a big help for this group going forward.
Well, she's hit the ground running, hasn't she, Mike? And she knows the play, she knows the players, and she knows the coaches. Beckford-Norton, great D from Grace Jewell. She was upright and
called for the blocking foul.
But moving, feet moving.
Yeah, so I think I initially had the same thought as you, Graham. I thought she was great defence, but referees really tightening up in this second quarter, like not letting anything go at all, and that's why both teams now in the penalty with still 4:25 left.
Holly Winterburn, they can't leave her open at all. Great pass. And Shaquila Joseph in and out. Super pass by Winterburn. Here comes Cassidy, and I love her tenacity, her energy, just never stops pushing.
And this is where the team fouls rack up now. Cassidy Gould to the line all of a sudden for a foul. And another chance to get it going again. Similar pattern to the first quarter. Lions came out early, good 3-4 minutes to open, and now after that Oakland's just settling again and starting to just put their foot in the game and say we can at least compete.
Yeah, and that's the bottom line for Tor Freeman and this roster. And well, there's no doubt Cassidy Gould can compete against any of the teams in this league. Still a very young player. As I said earlier, out of Davison, so great credentials coming out of US College. Winterburn behind the back, that was almost out of bounds. Vorpal short, and Cassidy Gould with another rebound and the spin dribble out. Sarson's to her left. Sarson's attacks, back outside. Grace George attacks. Grace George can't get it to go. Good offensive rebound. Grace George misses. and frustrated. I don't think there was a foul there, though.
No, but Olmo was the wrong option on the 3-on-1. They didn't. Mendes was wide open on the dish. She would have got a layup, but Oakland's happy to push.
Holly thought about the three there, I think, but she gets closer to the hoop. Beautiful pass. And what? Just the way her mind works is really impressive. Holly Winterburn with the assist.
Yeah, no, but also it's the recognition of Holly, but it's also the cuts. The off-ball movement is terrific by Lions and really allows Winterburn to distribute.
Penetrate, pass. Sarson can't get that to go. Really good defence from Beckford Norton. Ball's loose. They've got to dive on that. Sarson gets there first. Looks up, heads up. Throws it to Cassidy Gould, who rips through. And called for a travel. That's 2 shots.
Yeah, it was. She got Beckford Norton on the fake. And then the referee was going to call foul on the basket. So you see here on that fake, and there's the foul committed, and then she pauses. So it wouldn't have been an and one continuation, but really savvy move. Shanice Southgate, you know she's going to try and block that shot and just freeze her on the fake. And Castigle's been really impressive. Doesn't necessarily. She has 13 points, but it's the little things she's done, the rebounds, being able to get the team going in transition with the spin moves and stuff that doesn't necessarily always show up on the stat sheet. And definitely a positive that Oaklands will take into the locker room at half time.
Yeah, I think they've, in long spells, they've competed. Missed free throw there from Gould. And that's just too easy.
Yeah, and Smith decided to gamble on the 3-on-2, try and take something away, but Battle able to have that recognition to decide, actually, I see you're going to gamble on the 3, I'll take the layup.
Yeah. Good job again, the sideline trap at the halfway line. And the 3-point shot there just taken by Miriam Carrasco-Mendes. She has made some big shots at the EABL level over her time at Oaklands Wolves. She had her feet set, just got to shoot that with confidence. Beckford Norton, here comes Winterburn, gets her feet set, that's off right. Ball's loose momentarily behind the back. Under a lot of attention, ball's deflected, and that's a dangerous cross-court pass. Here comes Winterburn, hands off Vorpal, set, and knocks it down.
Yeah, and you can see Gould trying to do the right thing, but those cross-court passes always risky, and this time the recognition on the Lions' weak side to see the ball come over, jump in the passing lane, and Lions able to do what they do best, which is points in transition.
Winterburn, 10 points, 5 assists, 6 rebounds, shots up for Grace George, and there's no foul. It was just a tough move. Here comes Vorpal and gets it to go, and they're playing downhill now, London Lions, Mike.
Yeah, it's that transition, that 8 seconds or less offense, and really difficult to guard. So Lions closing out the quarter strongly and just not letting Oakland's carry that momentum over that they had got temporarily at least.
Smith, all stuck just for a moment. Goes left hand layup. That's a really good move. She set up Vorpal really well there.
Yeah, and it's not something you necessarily always see from Georgia Smith. She's more of the catch and shoot off the dribble 3, but able to just get Vorpal on the hip again and then finish well with the left hand.
Battle. Good job by Cleo. Here comes Cassidy Gould. We're into the last minute. And almost stolen by Beckford Norton, who's hustling around, buzzing around like a bee. Grace George, again, a lot of dribble. It's coming back out again. 10 seconds on the shot clock. They've got to move without the ball, otherwise they're going to have some trouble, and they've had trouble. Winterburn, 3-on-1. Oh, just sensational pass. Vorpal with a good catch.
Yeah, fake left, pass right, and defense. It's impossible to do. You 2-on-1s are difficult. 3-on-1 you can't do anything. But the quality of Holly just to ensure it's a wide open look, and lines up to 20 fast break points in the opening half.
Ball's off for Georgia, and foul. And still chippy.
Yeah, I didn't quite see what happened. I went to look away because signaling 2 shots, but I wouldn't be surprised with the technical foul on Joseph. It'll be Oakland to line for 1, and then Lions will go down the other end of the floor, and Joseph will shoot 2, except she's not on the floor.
The foul was called, the regular foul call.
Yeah, Joseph's now going to have to come on. to shoot and then there'll be a provisional on the shooter, I guess.
Yes, that's what I expect will happen. I'm sure our lovely stats team will love that one because that's a confusing one to sub on, because you're initially just subbing everyone that comes on court, and then but the teamwork on the table and from the referees to realise Joseph needs to shoot the free throws.
Yeah, Tony there leading the stats, working with the young assistant, been doing the stats for top level basketball for so many years, and he's a font of knowledge, and now he's mentoring these young people coming through to do the stats.
I mean, they've got Cara down there today, who's definitely one of our more experienced games. Personally, when I do stats, Cara's one of the best we have in the league for spotting and recognition of the games. It's a really good crew down there, but they are doing a good job bringing through other statisticians. We've had a few rotate through last week of training, and both Tony and Cara actually tutors on the course to bring through some of the up and coming statisticians.
It's so important that we get everything right off the court as well as on the court. Good break on the press. Time running down and sideline, and Daisy Porter will go to the line for 2 shots.
Yeah, Battle just a little bit late on the rotation to cut off, but terrific press break by Oaklands to get it over, created 2-on-1, and you can see here just Battle moving to the right, and she was going to look for Lewis Gale, who was open, but instead earns herself to the line. And again, Oakland's will be happy. They've free throw attempts 12 and 13, so they've done a good job, because Lions team's normally really well disciplined, doesn't foul too often, but 11 fouls for Lions for 13 free throws is again another encouraging thing that Tor Freeman Lee Ryan will take into the locker room.
Just long, but great big rebound from Grace George. Kicks it out, and a better shot up there from Lewis Gale. So good finish with the offensive rebound and the shot attempt for Oakland's Wolves. But we're here at half time.
BT, they ran in the arena at half time. It's trying to find more leadership, more role, and really trying to put her stamp on this team consistently.
Yeah, and we are back live here at the Copper Box. Hope you're enjoying the action. We're live on YouTube. Please do give us super pass. That was really nice by Grace George, giving it to her Australian counterpart.
Yeah, and a good start for Oakland's. Lions first and second quarter started with like 8 and 7-0 runs off the bat, so Oakland's get the first buckets big, but the one person you can't leave open from 15 foot.
Yeah, Harrigan there knocking down the uncontested shot. She's up to 11 points, 5 of 6 from the field. They've got to move the ball quickly, Wolves. Shots up, and that's partially deflected. It's short. Cincina brings it away. Javelin pass, what a catch! And the foul by Osei.
Well, we normally describe it as a quarterback pass, but that was right pinpoint as Cincina was ahead, so Murray ahead of the pack, just right in stride, and so I did a good job trying to get back, but Murray able to draw the contact with that experience, and she'll head to the line for the first time this afternoon.
Yeah, they've just got to have their heads in the game here, Oakland's Wolves, early. But we're live on YouTube, and please do keep your comments coming in. Get on social media. And we want it to be interactive. We want you enjoying the coverage. And a good crowd here in the Copper Box, enjoying the action. And a great experience, as we alluded to first half, Mike. Great experience for these young players. I think now they've had the first half, now they've really got to go for it. I'm talking about the academy players, Oakland's Wolves.
Yeah, of course, and they've definitely settled in. They've had some low moments. They've also had some very good positives. That ball movement at the end of the first quarter, probably the highlight that they talked about in the locker room, that this is what they're capable of. It's now reproducing that consistently.
Cassidy Gould all the way across to Beth Sarsons, who lets the shot go. A little bit flat, and Azania almost loses it. Cincina. Azania in motion, gives the pass to Murray. Double team. Cincina's open, Harrigan's open, and it's just that slow preparation to shoot it, and then it's splash.
Yeah, and it almost feels like, in a way, Kiki's had a quiet game. You look at the stats and suddenly it's 14 points, 6 of 7 from the floor, but she just does everything so under control.
Yeah, 14, 6 of 7, as you say, just sensational efficiency. Georgia Smith, time running down. They need some options. Gould gives it to them. It's going to have to go up. Shoots up and off, and they just can't get the open looks with this smothering defence from London Lions.
Yeah, it's that length, it's the wing, but Oakland's being passive. They had some success being aggressive.
Bullying the way to the rim. Stewart, offensive boards and the foul.
And I think foul there on the rebound again. Lions done a relatively good job on the glass, and it's called on Gould, and it'll be end-line ball, obviously, with Azania having collected that rebound. But again, it's that difference that Lions are fearless going to the rim, and that Oakland's just a little bit more passive and a little bit scared, maybe worried about shot blockers from the Lions.
That's 3 fouls now for Cassidy Gould.
As again, Lions have really changed the playbook a little bit with the coaching change. Obviously, Mark Clark leaving, Stella coming in, and the end line's been where they've good. We had the play in front of us last week, if you remember that triple screen with Winterburn getting the 3 and similar type of things. So see if they can execute once again off the end line.
Same again, and doesn't get it to go, but she's first there for that offensive rebound effort, and that's where Oakland's Wolves have got to step it up. They can't let Winterburn take a 3, misses it, and then gets to the offensive rebound. Yeah,
terrific look, and just maybe commentators curse on the 3-point instead of it, but another great look, and now Herbert Harrigan with a great mismatch.
That's wow, that is really strong, and nothing Oakland's Wolves could do about that.
No, a sigh on Herbert Harrigan is not a matchup the Oakland's Wolves coaching staff will really want, but Lions definitely come out with another gear that we didn't see in the first half.
Grace George, good resilience there, and perseverance, gets the short 2-pointer to go.
Yeah, and that's the experience of maybe some players are fearless, but Grace George doesn't matter. She knows she's got some length, and able to take the contact, then reset her feet.
Nice pass from Azania Stewart. That is beautiful. Goes baseline, nice little bounce pass.
Yeah, and again, not everything you normally see. 6'4", you don't normally think about them as great passers, but Azania really crafty, saw the cut of Murray, and Lions again off-ball movements, just that next level.
Yeah, and the defence is really stepping up. 3-on-2, Winterburn, and that ended up being a tough pass, and it's out of bounds, and Oakland's Wolves ball.
Yeah, and Lions have been probably the one criticism, and maybe talked about in the locker room at half-time, was a little bit sloppy with the ball. Double-digit turnovers in the first half, something we rarely see, but that time was the length of Grace George able to really deflect that pass. Winterburn realised she was going to get blocked and had to try and find a second option.
And Daisy turns it over. Cincina, left-hand layup. Great protection of the ball, and we'll head to the line for a bonus shot.
Yeah, this time just fearless again, taking the shot blocker on by creating that contact. Just a little reach down with that right hand onto the arm of Cincina, and she's able to finish through the contact, and we'll go to line for the bonus.
Of course, Cincina, 6 foot plus, again, not going to have a major issue with Grace George coming over, but such good fundamentals. Any young player watching, that's why you go with your left hand from the left hand side.
Yeah, and even at the high level, those little things matter, because sometimes you do have shot blockers and things to work through. And again, Lions continuing to dominate the fast break points. It was 20-0 at half time, and now another 4 on top of that in the second half.
Grace George and Azania coming out, gets a deflection, and look at Stewart sprint down the floor. Are they going to be able to use it? Nice screen on the outside to free up Cincina, but good recovery from Grace George. Let's look at this matchup. Azania can't get it to go. George with the rebound, outlet to Daisy Porter. To Beth Sarsons, and another underhand attempt. She's heading to the line for 2.
Yeah, and Beth Sarson's really been challenged to be crafty around the rim today, trying to find little ways to get it go. We saw both and ones in the first half. She finished terrifically, and that time just again a slightly different finish. Couldn't quite get the roll that time, but a really good adjustment by Sarson.
And I guess if she makes a traditional layup, but Winterburn's going to block that.
Yeah, that's going into the media section. There's no two ways about that. But that's the experience of Beth Sarson. I think some of the 3-on-3s probably helped with that as well. She did a good job at her team at ball out finals this year. Made her run all the way to the finals. She had the team full of guards, but they knocked off a team including Shaquilla Joseph in one of the games. But it's that finding different ways to finish and being crafty and able to convert at the line.
Yeah, she's really coming on strong. It's her third game back in an Oakland Wolves uniform. And she's reliable, she's strong, and got experience. Stewart's out, Shaquilla Joseph in. And now a bit of pressure put on by the Wolves, and Lions break it initially. Cincina is going to shoot. You can't leave her open. And a complete breakdown for Cleo Lewis-Gale there on defence.
Yeah, but ability again, not worry about it. She sprinted the floor, and that opened up Georgia Smith on the weak side. It's Lewis-Gale running the floor that really opened that up, so credit to her. Don't sleep on that mistake and just get into that next play mentality. Yeah,
really wise word, especially for these young players. And Joseph makes the simple layup, just a quick pass between three players, and the Lions score. That's a really good point for any player, but especially young players. It's next play mentality. Gould again, still Gould, and Gould finishes with another underhand flip layup. Good play from Cassidy Gould. She applauds herself and says, come on, let's go Oakland's Wolves.
Yeah, and Gould up to 15 points, but Lions will be disappointed with that weak side defence allowing the lane to be wide open.
We had a perfect look, so do the people in the courtside seats. That is just a thing of beauty, Mike.
Yeah, and another terrific shooter. That's a third of the afternoon, and just someone you never want to leave open.
Georgia Smith, all of a sudden, the light's gone on for her, and Georgia hits back-to-back threes, but they need a stop here, Oakland's Wolves. And that's tough when you've got Winterburn to Harrigan, two of the best players in this league.
Yeah, but this game's starting to pick up a bit of an offensive rhythm. Neither team really looking like they're going to get stops. Even the shots that have been missed are wide open, but that's Georgia Smith in a nutshell. Let me see, the 36 points in 6 minutes, but that's Georgia Smith in a nutshell. She's one of those streaky players. Once she hits one or two, everything suddenly looks like a good shot to her, and she can make them so consistently. And we've seen a couple of games this year where she's just caught fire.
That's exactly what Oakland's Wolves require. 78-43, London Lions in control.
Yeah, and Smith just retying her laces, which is why we've got a little pause in the game.
They may have been singed because she just caught fire, as you referred to.
Yeah, that's a nice one. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Wolves can go back to her, because you made two. This is always a chance. Try and get your shooter going and turn her own. And there's a tough one. Told you she didn't. There you go. Everything looks like a good shot.
Exactly. She didn't quite get the Azania Stewart roll off her free throw earlier in the game, which we might see on some highlights. Just off from Beckford Norton. Here comes Cassidy Gould, really pushing. Where's she going to go? Winterburn stays in front. Georgia Smith now guarded really closely by Vorpal, and a good attack there by Georgia Smith.
Yeah, and smart decision. Vorpal was so close that Smith knew any step, as long as you can avoid stepping on that baseline, that Vorpal's going to be in a position where she's going to have to reach or let you go, and Vorpal commits her third personal foul.
Ball's in off the baseline. Daisy Porter looking for options. Georgia Smith didn't quite have the rotation, but she's not going to turn down any shot at the moment.
No, indeed, and again, that's cross-court pass we talked about in the first half. That sometimes it's really dangerous, but sometimes it can lead to an open look, and that time Porter managed to squeeze the pass in to Smith.
Harrigan, still Harrigan. You've got to remember, for people that's maybe watching the WBBL for the first time, she's played in the WNBA, and she's going back there this summer.
Yeah, for sure, and that's the experience. She's really class on both ends.
And Cassidy Gould, that is so tough with Holly Winterburn right in her face. Good play from Cassidy Gould and the Wolves. Joseph to Winterburn. Winterburn dribbles left, just short, but Joseph too strong underneath.
Yeah, and again, the length of the Lions' wings is where you take one person out, box out, but they can send a second, they can send a third to the glass, and at some point you're going to have an advantage. And Joseph, great body position.
Georgia Smith blocked but fouled as well, and nice touch from Joseph helping her up.
Yeah, but as the leadership, you can see Cassidy Gold here. What she does, you'll notice on the weak side, it's definitely a foul by Joseph on the reaching, but look where Cassidy Gould is on the far side of the three-point line. She sees her teammate hit the floor and she's sprinting over to pick her up, and that's just the leadership and the experience, and it's teaching some of the younger players this is a minimum expectation how everyone should do it. If the teammate hits decks and make a good play, go help them up. Yeah, absolutely. And these three Australians know each other well. They've played together, represented Australia and won gold in regional FIBA tournaments, and they've played at such a high level. Obviously Cassidy Gould going to Davidson, US College, so it's really a fantastic pickup. It's almost like a mini team ready to go as soon as they arrived at Oaklands Wolves. For sure, and I'm sure Cassidy got some experience about the league coming in because she played with Kate Oliver in the summer for Diamond Valley, so yeah, she knew what she was getting into, and she's done a terrific job as Lions will get another turnover. That's good defence by the team in white. Back outside, Gould teeing up her defender. Back to George, all the way across. Georgia Smith, got to be careful trying to take on Cincina there. Shot clock running down. Left hand. Grace George rips that rebound and bounces it and finishes. And that's what Grace George, I feel, adds that to her game. Consistently, she'd be almost unstoppable. Yeah, and that's a little decision to realise, rather than take this 6 foot, I can turn it into a 1 footer all the way at the rim, and that extra bounce. Harrigan rips through and foul. Grace George had her hands up, but just wouldn't have had the foot speed there to deal with Harrigan. I think the foul's probably on Akpan on the weak side. In this 2-3 zone, you can see her rotating over, and indeed it is Akpan that comes across, and just a little bit late on that rotation, but Lions have done a really good job against the zone of attacking the baseline today. So definitely an adjustment we've not seen before, but that's definitely been that into that short corner and let those wings, Cincina, Herbert, Harrigan, Joseph drive baseline and try and collapse the defence and then decide what you want to do from there. And is that caused by the Oaklands Wolves just stepping up too high at the back of the zone? Yeah, I think so. Some of it is also the spacing of having a shooter in the corner where that bottom player's got to draw out to the corner, and then you can find that little pocket of space in between the wing and the big underneath. Kiki comes out with another impressive performance. Miriam off the glass is no good. She just couldn't get it high enough. And here comes Vorpal. Battle moving off the ball, good save, but here comes the Oaklands Wolves. Sarsens pushing, shots going up and just off, and look at Beckford Norton and the foul, and she was flying. What an athlete she is. Yeah, referees are just gonna talk on sports line. I think that was fine. She was, just a normal blocking foul. I agree with that. Obviously, Oakland's in the penalty, so it'll be 2 shots regardless, but it won't be possession. But Shanice Beckford Norton, so athletic, and just a skill to keep your feet in bounds there is really difficult. Sort of toe tap the sideline almost to get to readjust, and knowing when not to touch the ball because you'll be out of bounds, when to touch the ball, and rewarded with a trip to the charity stripe. There's a first look at the free throw line today. She's up to 3 points, and she's such an important part of this London Lions team. I think we may have mentioned it last week. They need her energy and her positivity, game in, game out. Yeah, she just plays so differently because of that. Again, similar to Beth Sarson in the way, that 3-on-3 experience. She's just so athletic, but can do a little bit of everything. Her 3-point shots developed. She's tenacious defensively. Arguably, before this season, was probably the best on-ball defender in the league, and now she's been joined by Marianne Vopal, who are both terrific in that element as well. So that's the talent and the depth of this Lions roster. Cassidy Gould, Eva Karasati, one of the. And it stays with the Wolves. So again, 4 academy players on the floor. Excuse me, 3 academy players with Sarson's former academy player
and very recently a Leicester Riders player, but the travel and the logistics of playing at Leicester, just an offensive foul.
Yeah, moving screen, I think on Osai underneath, just trying to get away from the screen too early and set another one, but that first one moving. But yeah, Beth, really difficult decision to leave. She loved it. She loved it in Leicester, but these players are trying to work, some of them as well, and that travel commitment just didn't quite work. So she's found obviously really is what a home away from home at Oaklands, and she's happy to be back.
Yeah, and playing as well as ever. Beckford Norton, double rip. Vorpal goes left, back to Beckford Norton, who's going to attack the middle, and doesn't quite get it to go. Good rebound from Cassidy Gould again, but can't dribble out. You just cannot dribble out when you've got Taylor Murray anywhere near you, and Beckford Norton ready to pounce as well.
Yeah, and that was the shot. That was the game clock pressure. They're trying to push to get a shot off before teammates weren't far enough ahead in transition. But great hands, and again, that's depth of quality, especially in the mid-pack this year. It's not an easy accomplishment. Celtic's leading the league at 19.4. That's low on a normal year, but that says how much the league is continuing to grow, get deeper every year. Obviously, Mystics picked up their first win yesterday.
Yeah.
But it's that depth and quality in this league that keeps going as battle gets a line, and it's a really big step forward, and we've seen it with the crowds as well. It's a big crowd starting to fill out here. It obviously always looks empty because of how big the copper box is, but we had the record broken in Leicester last night. That's the second time we've had 1,300 plus for a domestic crowd this season, obviously plus the finals. I know Essex are trying to have a big crowd in next week for their home game to celebrate International Women's Day as well.
Yeah, I think women's sport it's so important, encouraging women to get involved in basketball, whether it's a player or a coach or official, just some way to get more females involved. And with Stella now leading this team, you've got a woman at the helm, and obviously the GM with Anya as well.
Yeah, and obviously Lauren Milligan, who's not here because she's got a game with her WBBL Division 1 side at London Lions 2 today.
Yes.
But she'd normally be on the bench as well for Lions.
Yeah, and I think it's really important that there is female involvement on the coaching staff for sure. So we're into the fourth. London Lions moving the ball around the outside. Oakland's in a 2-3 zone. Shots up and just off, and good rebound on the weak side. Almost stolen. Gould gets it. Still got it. Pulls up and just off left. Good job. And Shanice Beckford Norton comes away, not for the first time, with the loose ball. An offensive foul, and great foot movement by Daisy Porter. She tried to take the charge earlier in the game. This time she's in close attendance on defence as well, as we see the replay.
And I think they just called Beckford Norton, rightly so, that right hand extended into the chest support, and that's a great spot because it's always going away from you. The angle was a little bit off, but correct call on Beckford Norton, and she will take a break because that's a fourth personal foul.
It's just good play, but that's what these academy players and what Oakland's Wolf players have got to do. Just put their faces in, put their bodies on the line, and good things are going to happen. So Cassidy Gould versus Vorpal, really good matchup. Screen, Royose, who rolls. Daisy Porter attacks. And Osei's going to go reverse layup, and that's good ball movement again. Side to side movement underneath the hoop there, Mike.
Yeah, and kind of the defense kind of rotated because Cassidy was screaming for the ball, but as I kind of realised the defense is going to collapse, I'm going to have a lane here, and then couldn't quite get the reverse layup to go, but another really smart move and rewarded with 2 free throws.
And the academy players have just got to believe in their shot because there is only Cassidy on the floor, and this is not the first time Tor Freeman has done this, just having one pro and the rest young players.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily about this game right now for Oakland, it's that playoff run, knowing that you're going to need some of these players to step up down the back end of the season.
And the bank is open at the copper box on a Sunday with the free throw. Why not? Any way you can get it in.
Hey, when you're 0-9 on the season, you will take any way to get a free throw in. Obviously, cleaner than Azania Stewart's, which hit the top of the backboard in the first quarter.
Yeah, that was. I hope we see that again, and that's on some sort of highlight reel. Shots up, and offensive rebound tip by Gould, keeping it alive for Daisy Porter. Now, be careful, Daisy, because you've got one of the top defensive guards right in front of you. Nice job by Cassidy Gould getting in behind Winterburn. Shots up from Akpan, it's off left, but good look.
Fight for the rebound.
And Lions get the rebound. 8 minutes just over remaining in the fourth. It's WBBL action, first of a double-header here at the Copper Box. London Lions BBL. Action next as Vorpal puts the shot up off left. No box out. And Murray gets the offensive rip. And there's Shaquila Joseph. Just a little drop off again for Winterburn.
And it's that off-ball movement from the line. Someone drives and all four recognise I need to relocate, make a better passing angle, and that's just the small things that anyone at home can kind of learn from, is that you've got to react to the ball and give passers options.
Oh, nice catch and almost a finish. And that is going to be a finish. Great job on the catching the ball and stepping through from Ossate.
Yeah, and again, it's the Tenacians are trying to fight for these rebounds, not always coming up with them, but the tip to keep it alive was what really created that, as Joseph a little bit too strong on the pass.
Yeah, Joseph to battle. So a score and a stop for the Wolves as subs coming in. Gordon, Carrasco, Mendes out. In comes. Good job by SA there with that step through and finish. And Cleo Lewis Gale in for the Wolves.
Also taking a break.
40-point differential, but I think Oakland's Wolves, and they're getting trapped on that sideline. Murray just non-stop on defence. Georgia Smith gets baseline, spins, and tries to get off the top of the backboard. And Winterburn with the rebound. She's getting really close to that triple-double now.
Yeah, I think one rebound short.
And here's the three coming up and just off. Tie battle, not boxed out, and a foul by Daisy Porter. And sometimes you can try and box out, but sometimes it's just genetics and difference in size and experience.
And yeah, you can see Tor Freeman's not upset with that. It's just the rotation. Porter put a body on Battle, but at some point 6'1" going to beat 5'6", 5'7", especially when you've got someone as athletic as Battle to go up and get it. So not a lot Porter could have done there.
And Battle 100% from the line. 3 of 3 now. Misses that one, and good job by Jan Akpan. Mike was concerned that pass was going to get picked off. Here comes Porter, and well, big swipe down, no foul called. Here comes Murray, difficult to catch in the open floor.
And that's the ability of Herbert Haugen. She mistimed a couple, but learned from that this time, get a better angle to come down and a good clean block, and Lions rewarded in transition.
An unforced error really on that sideline possession, and good concentration by Vorpal. And coach has seen enough. So Freeman calls timeout, and London
Finals are coming up. We saw Caledonia Gladiators, who are here next with the men, into the final. And then obviously the women's semi-finals are next week, so it's Oakland's, Lions are going to play at Oakland's, and they'll take on the Cheshire Hatters next week.
Georgia just can't get that to go. Here comes Winterburn in the open floor, still in the open floor, extends and doesn't get it to go. No foul.
Now, for those of you watching at home, we need one Holly Winterburn rebound for a triple-double.
Winterburn just off with the 3. Nice little shovel pass from Vorpal, and that's an assist. Kiki Herbert Harrigan. Just too big, too strong underneath.
Yeah, and again, another just quiet performance, 23 points.
Shots up off the dribble for Grace George, no good on that occasion. And there's the rebound.
Yep,
Holly Winterburn.
Holly Winterburn, triple-double. Another big stat line, and she's done it on a defensive end as well, 4 steals as well for Winterburn.
Well, they score on the entry pass.
Zania Stewart with drawing the foul there.
Substitution.
What a performance by Winterburn. She's out. Then comes Cincina.
Indeed, as Holly comes out of the game and replaced by Cincina. But obviously, it's one thing we've not had a chance to talk about really is obviously the signing deadline's gone now, Graham. So with some news too as Zania converts, but the important thing is, obviously, the signing deadline done, that Lions are kind of stuck with the roster, and they've decided that Paulina Hurstler's the one that's not going to play for the rest of the season. Obviously, that was a really difficult decision for the Lions staff to make. So it'll be Cincina, Vorpal, Murray and Battle to finish the season for the Lions.
Yeah, Hurstler, Swedish international, and has been a big help. But rules are rules. Shot up for Grace George. And still by Oakland's Wolves, ball's loose, still got it. Nice job by Daisy Porter with the handoff pass.
Yeah, and Porter making plays at both ends. She got the hand in for the steal, and then at the other end, but there's Winterburn with the triple-double, taking a break. Probably done for the game. 10 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists, 4 steals, and a plus-minus of 48 as well, which is terrific.
Yeah, just another awesome performance by Holly Winterburn. There's Grace George at the line. Oakland's Wolves have just got to keep going because
yeah, and again, it's that depth of this Lions team. We've got 5 players in double digits. Battle, Joseph, only a field goal away as well.
Yeah, Zania Stewart inside to Cincina. Harrigan thinks about the 3 and catch and shoot from Cincina from the elbow. No good. Zania Stewart gets another rebound. Ball's loose and just falls into the hand of Herbert Harrigan, and she does the rest.
Yeah, and again, Lions just crashing the offensive glass, and Stewart able to keep it alive, and again, that lovely little tip pass really proving successful for Lions.
And a bit flat there from Grace George. Great hustle from Beth Sarsons.
Substitution.
Yeah, I think it's been exceptional, their team play, and that's what I guess Stella Calcido, it's her 3rd game in charge. It's what she's going to want to see building. I'll say back outside to Grace George. Under 10 seconds, George attacks. Little pass to Georgia Smith, and that's a beautiful little shot. A nice interaction by the 2 Aussies.
Yeah, and it'll be important now for Oaklands to score a couple of scores.
Beautiful ball movement.
And they can't get it to go, and Joseph has a 3rd offensive attempt, and this time she gets it to go, and that's frustrating for the Wolves, but great job by Shaquila Joseph.
Yeah, just that 2nd, 3rd effort, didn't quite get it to go, but just the ability to stay with the play and then have that composure to finish at the 3rd time and not worry about the previous 2 misses.
Great perseverance, resilience from Shaquila Joseph inside, but you're not, if Murray's there, look at the afterburners. Left-hand layup, nobody from the Wolves can keep up with that. That's just sensational from Murray.
Yeah, really important for Lions just to keep that defensive tendency going, because that semi-final is next week. You really want to tick over, because Sheffield Hatters are going to be a tough opposition.
Yeah, that semi-final at shots just short. Good job by George. That semi-final at Oaklands College, at Oaklands Wolves' home floor. It's been that'll be the 2nd game at Oaklands College in St Albans, so that's good for people to be able to watch the London Lions from different areas in the capital and the surrounding counties. A nice play from Cassidy Gould, just pulling up at the free throw line.
Yeah, and she's been terrific all afternoon. The leadership as well with Gould, the way she's kept the team engaged, up to 19 points, 8 rebounds as well, and again, another big step for Oakland is getting Gould, George playing well at the back end of the year.
Joseph again with another offensive rebound. She can't get that to go. Push ahead. George, bounce pass, fade away, and that is just off, but tough shot in the end for Cassidy Gould.
Yeah, but Oakland's have really struggled in transition today. Lions, you've got to credit Lions defense. Everything early in the shot clock is really difficult.
Taylor Murray Tax gets it back fortuitously, and again Shaquila Joseph just hanging around. Some smiles there between the two players. That was fortunate, but you've got to be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, and again, it's that quick thinking though. Get the ball back and, okay, now I've got to do something with it, because you weren't expecting it. And Murray able to find the pass, and yet another assist for the Lions. And Taylor Murray, again, just defensively is where she's great, but it's those little decision makings as well. And suddenly you look at stats, it's 6-7 assists, and that's what you expect week in, week out from someone with her experience and quality.
15.6 assists, 5 steals, a lot of open layups as well for Murray. Grace George off one leg. That shot seems to be getting, the release seems to be getting a little bit low for Grace. Maybe slightly fatigued. Cincina, she's been working really hard trying to cope with this Lions team. Cincina, and that was perfect, straight line.
Yeah, and every time you think Cincina open, she's just going to knock it down time and time again. That's the quality, her experience, and 4 or 5 from 3, and even when it feels like a quiet game, 19 points on the board.
Yeah. And Grace George, not a quiet move there. That's making a lot of noise. Going left, finishing right.
Yeah, and again, just the ability to take that contact and be able to have the strength to finish through it, really important. But Oaklands are going to come out of it with a lot of positives on the ball. They're nearly going to get to 60 points, which is obviously a much bigger increase than what they had early in the season. Obviously, we know a lot of players missed that first game, but a building curve, and Lions are still going to want to improve on that defensively. That's definitely the adjustment they're making is on the defensive end, but steps forward for Oakland certainly. And again, they'll be excited about the challenge of Caledonia coming in next week.
Yeah, well, of course, Caledonia Gladiators beat London Lions a couple of weeks ago in the Epic here by 1 point, and then Gladiators lose yesterday to Newcastle, and Oakland's Wolves have just got to keep pushing, because Gladiators are a tough team, but there may be some better matchups for them in amongst that roster as opposed to the Lions roster. Yeah,
for sure, and obviously Gladiators a couple of injuries yesterday, but again, it's that playoff run that we're looking at. You've got Durham are currently the 8th seed. They've got 4 wins, Cardiff 4 wins, Nottingham 3, Oakland's 3. So that pack is really congested. Essex have got a tough schedule coming up now with the coaching change of Tom Sadler leaving us. Battle doesn't quite get the offensive rebound and put back to go, but it's going to be super competitive and really exciting for the league to end the season.
Yeah, you want battles all through those top 8 positions, and what a beautiful shot from Vorpa. I'm really impressed with the way she shoots the ball amongst everything else she does. George attacks left hand, and she's going all the way to the bucket. This time, traditional left hand layup.
Yeah, and again, that's the average. Just those little points at the end all tally up to that average, and Grace George up to 15 to win the game, but Lions really deserve win.
Yes, another big victory for the Lions. Mike's going to go down and get a post-game interview with one of the Lions players. 115 points they have accrued today. 1-3.